Hello. This is Julie with the Jewel Design, and we are, we're titling the second week of May, first digital kit of the month. Woohoo! Nice digital reveal today. But it's a little bit of a digital reveal and a smidge of a recap on the design team shout out. So we'll start with the digital kit, and then if you are interested in knowing more about the digital design team, or the design team, crafting design team that I'm putting together, then finish off the rest of the video. But we'll start off with this. So it is the second week in May already. Gasp, it doesn't take long. Last week was pretty calm. This week is definitely crazier, but hey, we run with it and we make the most of it. So we have a new kit, a little bit sticking with the retro. We did sort of the beach retro. Gail was showing off my retro sweet treats that I made a year ago, so she made a kit out of it, made a journal out of that one. I think she finished it like, I guess it'd be 2 weeks now ago. So I felt the need to keep going with the retro feel, and I had all these elements that I loved, and there were some seamless wallpapers already created, but due to copyright, I couldn't just use them as a digital because they were created to use as packaging and branding and package branding, not so much digital paper. So I was like, oh, okay, well, because I was going to go in, I was making some color changes, I was going to rearrange a few pieces, and it wasn't set up that way. And I'm like, well, okay, well, you gave me all the individual pieces, I'll make my own seamless wallpaper. And that's what made me think of it. Not just pattern paper, but more like a wallpaper and a retro, and something you may see in your kitchen, or on fabric for an apron, or cafe curtains. It was definitely back more in the 50s and 60s. At least the coloring made me feel that, but still that tweak of age. It's not vintage because, of course, retro isn't old enough to be vintage. That's creeping up there. But it was aged. Like, it's been sitting around. The house was built in 1950. We're 70 years later. And, it's seen some better days. It's been aged. It's been played with a little bit. It's starting to change its coloring. It's starting to maybe not discolor, but it's starting to see some worn spots, right? And that was my thought on it. So it's an aged retro floral wallpaper journal kit. And we have, let's see, I think 12 and 12. We have 12 papers and 12 pages of ephemera. So let's get going. We're going to start with the decorative, we're going to start out with the decorative pages that I love to always do first. And then we'll go to the pattern pages and then the ephemera. So, of course, I went ahead and created the pattern pages first, right? Because you have to have your bases. And some of these you'll see are actually from the Sweet Treats kits. These are the layouts and the elements that I created, and just tweak the coloring to match this a little better. Not so bright and neon, but more to match the greens or the reds or the oranges that were in here. So I got to play still with the retro pieces that I had. Now there may even be to a point if you need to really brighten up some of these colors, you might be able to use some of those retro papers, retro checkerboard and shabby retro pages if you need to add to this. And I do have my checkered, shabby and retro papers separately. If you wanted to if we felt they still went well together, you could have another option. But I wanted that ripped paper, like the wallpaper was ripped off, revealing something underneath. And, so when you fold it down the middle, you still have this decorative, and this is light, and this one, I have a couple pockets I think would be a great corner for my large corner pocket to add. Especially in the dimension of it, where we have the crosshatch and the higher pocket. I think it'd be fun when you have this little corner piece revealed. So there's that. And I did not back any of these because I could not decide yet what to back them. And until I actually have that project, I may not know exactly how I want to back them yet. So you get to see the front pages of each side. Let me double check something really quick. I had to rearrange everything from my live. Sorry, that's a little bit better. Okay, I'll move it up. And so my arm, which was in the perfect place, is now not in the perfect place anymore. And so I realized I'm a little low. Yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to rearrange all of that and try again. And so I really tweaked my arm and put it in a completely different spot so that you guys could be around for my live Instagram. And, So, anyway. Okay, so this is page 2. Again, we're still using this diamond floral. We're still using this. But when you fold it down the middle, you get a little bit of the ripped. You get more of the diamond. And you get some florals that come from this side. Or at least are nice companions to this pattern page. And then the other side is just pattern. So you can put a simple belly band on it. You can leave it as just a tuck page. You could put a, fabric flip. Just depending on how busy you want it. You can leave it be. or really stack on top of it. Then I change gears and I go to, this is our second pattern page. Again, it has its warm spots, it has its dark spots, but now we're sort of ripped and layered horizontally instead of vertically. Which actually, hold on, I'd have those out of order. Here we go. So you start with this. You start with your 2 pattern but 3 layered wallpaper pieces. I love that we use the polka dots here. That was a pink polka dot. I started putting some cream and that made it more of the orangey red instead of the pink, to complement the pops of reddish orange that's in this pattern paper. But then I played with it. So then I added tulips, because there's tulips in all the patterns. And I picked the tulips that came, though I tweaked them all. I've changed the coloring, I've added highs and lows. These were all very flat imagery. And then, you know, I'm trying to get some dimension into them, because I know retro is very flat, but we still like that little hint of vintage, that little hint of aged, and some dimension to it. So I put my twist to it by adding highs and lows. But I love how the tulips look like they're on this paper, tucked behind this, or that they're just tucked behind this. That we tucked, you know, like fussy cuts into paper pockets on the page. And again, right down the middle, nothing's cut off. You got 2 tulips on each side. And then I go one more step, and I do take all the flowers from up here that are present, and I put them down here. And add one, I think. This one's the only one that's not up there, but I have the 4, and I was like, I need a 5th. You need that sort of 5th element, so I did add this one back in. And again, you're pretty much down the middle. I think he's a little bit off to one side, but there's the 5 of them down the middle, which is great, makes a great border, helps you fold it certain ways. And you can't quite go. I was like, that would be 4 1/4, be really thin. You could get these, you could trim them and make them a really skinny traveler's notebook on some of these. Whatever you cut the top off, it would give you a strip, and you could turn that into belly bands and other things. So that's a thought to do a play on this next month and in June maybe, and see if I could make a traveler's notebook out of these, because I have no problem putting flowers on their sides. You'll find out I do that all the time. So anyway, so we vary through this set of pattern papers, from layers to layers with flowers to only 2 layers but more flowers. Then we keep going. There is the third and fourth pattern paper. Here it's lightened and distressed, and this is darker. And we have pink flowers that look like they're part of this pattern and laid behind. And then I flip it, and we actually get this a little lighter, this 100%, and we go for the blue flowers. All right. So I love being able to play with just the pink and the blue and the red, or orangey red, through this whole kit with those pops of yellow tulips. And they're sort of like a mustard yellow, not even like bright yellow. They have this interesting little goldenrod tone to it without being orange. I love this. I was trying a number of ways to get just a leafy pattern, and I just could not get my brain wrapped around it. Each one of these, not this one per se, but the other 2 patterns, it took me 2 hours each to create each page, period. Just to get the pattern right, the block right, and then repeat it just right, and fill in the holes where it just didn't work, and get it rotated, so that hopefully almost all of these pages, except for the ones, like that can go either way, that can go either way. This, if you liked, maybe for you like the idea of it stacked the other way, you could flip this around, and actually, no matter which way I turn it, it looks the same. Is that right? Oh, that is freaky. I don't know how I did that. But anyway, it looks like the shadow is the same either way. I don't even know how I did that. So anyway, this is the only one where you probably put it on its side, but you couldn't really flip it upside down, unless you are like me, where I have a moment where I don't have a problem with upside down flowers, having them stick down and stick out. This one is definitely obvious though, so maybe that's the only one that's not super non-directional. But I like the idea of it going up horizontal. So there you go. So I really worked on trying not to make things too one way or the other. This is the other one. I have no problem with the triangle going upside down. These aren't every other, which that would have fixed my problem. I don't know what I was thinking about that. It just happened to pan out and I ran with it. I like the triangle void with the triangle of flowers, right? So I left it. But I could have flipped these and I could have had a perfect, I think, triangle either way. I just think it would have a lot of green. Like you'd have all these would all be green down the middle. Get a little weird pattern. I don't like that per se. So, plenty of options. I could go forever on some of these. So, anyway, they are somewhat non-directional. Depending on how picky you are, or some people just cannot My daughter's a little OCD, so there'd be some things she'd be like, nope, Mom, you can't flip that around. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so there you go. We have, so what do we end up with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decorative journal pages, right? That have a little bit more than just a pattern on them, and they're distressed and they're aged to give you more dimension. Then we go to straight decor pages, where you just have the repeated pattern. You just have, you know, the decorative end of the pattern paper, pattern fabric, pattern wallpaper, however you want to say it. It has multitudes. One lady said it reminded her of her mom or her grandmother's, probably her grandmother's, or mom's, I don't know, her aprons, her kitchen aprons. So it reminded her of it. I'm like, oh, I love that. So it definitely has a fabric feel to it, but it's great for pattern paper. You know, it works its way. So there's number 1. Then there's number 2. Now this is a pale green. It is a light minted green that comes from one of these leaves. It's slightly tweeted a low dose so that it doesn't overpower the leaves that are on there, but it gave you something besides cream in the background. I didn't want just cream. I wanted green and blue and yellow, and so we picked up all the colors. So again, we have our circles, our squares of repetitive pattern where I try to flip them different ways so that you had it non-directional again. That one is upside down, but it's not a bad thing. You can have your flowers hanging down or your flowers growing upward. That's a nice leafy pattern. That'd probably be the simplest of the patterns to put on the back of something. Still makes it a little harder to write on. So none of these, I'm afraid, are great for a backing. I didn't really give you a backing page, so sorry. Any of my distressed inked cornered pages would work. I think in color. You could always look in some of my other pattern papers and see if one would be lighter to use. Then we do have that triangular floral pattern, which is really obvious as it goes across. I would have had to turn each one of these. We're like, okay, it's orange here, it's blue here, it's repeat the pattern somehow. But oh my gosh, my brain's already starting to fry it, trying to think of how I could make that work. I'm like, but I like the idea of having that sort of diagonal sort of feel. Again, that void of space in this case, and using it to our advantage. And then I had to play with this. This one is too dark, of course, still as your background, but I love the feel of that ripped page in the middle to work with. And again, you fold it, you super distress the edges. You could cut it out. You could even sit here and cut this out a little bit and have a nice ripped page, or use one of your rip tools and go beyond it and have a nice smaller sheet of paper that's ripped as a piece of fabric kind of feel, or wrapping paper, wallpaper, piece of paper. You printed it front and back, and then you probably ripped below the line. You could have some fun with this as an insert. It's just a different size piece of paper in your journal. And then we have 12 pages of ephemera. Now I did go with more of the fancy, what I call my fancy ephemera set. The newer stuff I used for my Touch of Romance and my Think Blue Victorian. Blue Victorian may have been normal, but Touch of Romance started this type of setup where we have the larger stamps, we have the large 4-flap envelope, we have the instantly backed journal cards, which I do give you guys 2 to 4 sets of these, or 1 to 2 sets, or 2 to 4 cards, where I line up the back perfectly with the front, so you can cut one big rectangle, score it down the middle, and glue it together. And you don't have to reset these through your printer to have a backing. It makes a very thick, robust journal card if it's on cardstock, or you print it on like your standard high, like 32 bright white or 32 pound bright white paper, and you get a cardstock feel without having to constantly run it through the printer to have something on the back. You don't have to overstress it. You don't have to ink it. You don't have to do much. I started this last May, and it's apparently become quite popular, where we have plenty of gentlemen and women who have decided to do the same thing. They may not put down the instructions, but if you follow me and those who promote me, you know what to do with them automatically. And so they're sort of running on my coattails, and I'm a little bummed about it, because no one had done the idea or played with the idea, but hadn't branded it for that or marketed it that way. And now I'm starting to see it marketed. So I'm really bummed about that, because apparently nothing is copyrighted these days. There's no one sees that anything is off limits. Really bummer. But this is what I do. It's for your sake. You can make them 4 separate cards. You can print them, cut them, and glue them so that they're instantly backed. You can do as you see fit, but this is my instructions. This is what I have suggested and why I create them. Because I would prefer just to give you 4 large cards and be done with it and put a page of something else on there. But I have ladies who really love this, who can cut it out, glue it together, and they have, you know, something that has a little bit more automatic, don't have to do anything to it, you know, and you have something printed on the back. Now, it is the background with a whited out area to make it really easy to write on. So you have that honest to God journal space that you're not trying to guess at what to put on the back of them. You have 2 sets. Now we have horizontal. These 2 I see as vertical, but you could leave them horizontal too. If you want a horizontal card, you tuck, but these 2 really could be seen as a vertical card. You can have that up the side, put some words and some decor up here. This one again, put, you know, a saying on here. You have some 2 vertical cards and 2 horizontal instantly backed journal cards. Then I use my taller pocket tag creation, my variation of something of a tall tag that has its own tall pocket. You have your backing, you have your front pocket, and you have your tag that goes inside it, and you back them how as you see fit. So you can write on, you know, decorate this one, tuck it into this one that, you know, has a backing of this. So you may want to back this one just so you have something on the back of this one, and of course on the back of your actual tag. So in case you make it an insert or you use it, you could always, you know, put a hinge on this and have it flip out. There's all kinds of fun things to do with these taller pocket tags that I sort of threw together. It is heavily inspired by other ladies who have done similar ideas. That I've gotten from, you know, a few videos that I was inspired by my mom from. So, you know, they were inspired to, hey, why don't we do this? I'm like, oh, cool, let me make it a little taller. Let me put my 5 hump clutch purse scallop on the top of it. That's what sort of makes it mine. This is exactly my exact scallop, shrunk to fit, off my envelopes that I put on top of my tags. Here's a secondary one. In this case, though, this one you could cut it out and make that pocket. We went through a couple different videos with a touch of romance. I showed it, I cut it out, and then we played with it to make some ephemera where you can cut these pockets out, and then of course that pocket idea led to the stuffed envelope pocket, which is in the touch of romance. So again, I'm finding my things, and we're continuing to work with them. But you could also, the downside of this one, you would have to cover this square with another piece of some scrap paper if you need to collage on it if you didn't want the pocket window. Then we do have the large double pocket tag, which was inspired by Lorette, Lorette Chandler. She made one, a very large one, and we were talking about it for a touch of romance, and so we shrunk it, but with my scallop top, the faux flap down, instead of having a pocket that was double-sided printed. You don't have to double-side print this on this one. You just have to glue this to this, put this pocket on it, glue it all onto here, and it's up to you whether or not this is the right size to fit in a journal, though, a large normal size 9x6 journal, and this fits right on a page. You glue it right down. You don't have to back this page. You won't have to back this one either, because this is going to pretend as if you were going to fold it down, you're going to put it up here. Woohoo! And I'm hoping I did not turn off my timer, which I could have done. Nope, I didn't. No, I did. Okay, well, that's a bummer. Okay. I'm like, so there you go. I have my large pocket, double pocket tag, and that is inspired by Lorette Chandler, by one of her large handmade items, and we, with her permission, made a smaller version that is now part of my ephemera. And she will always tweak it and make it hers when she makes something with it. We have a smaller four flap envelope. Again, these fit my smaller journal cards. Like the big one fits my large journal cards. Those instantly backed journal cards will fit in the big one. 2 square stamps, a longer flag, and then this newer rounded corner square pocket with a square thumb insert. I just love how the layering of these. I can layer and like collage layer these without having to actually collage them. Here it is, my double-sided pocket, or my double stackable rectangle pocket that, you know, overlap each other at an angle, and these would be awesome on that one corner page. So especially say maybe you want to go, so do it here. It is backwards. I think I have it here, then here. But I think it works, still would work, because it's going to fit a different direction. So anyway, that was my thought. I had to have that stackable to play with that front page. I wanted to really emphasize all the angles. in that page. You do have a double tag, journaling tag that goes all the way across. You can cut it in half for 2, or you can use it, you know, if you print on the back of this one, or just distress ink the inside of it. You do have a writable surface on the inside. And then I haven't done these in for so long. I put some hexagons in here because, again, we're still doing that geometric shape when it comes to retro. And so instead of your usual large coins, I did some hexagons, emphasizing corners and layers. Then we have the 6 little bit more square bordered journal cards instead of my usual 6-up. These are like 3 1/4 by 3 3/4, little different size. They won't fit in the mini 4 flap, but they'll fit in all your pockets. I did the 4 patterns. I emphasized 2 of my favorite flower arrangements, and of course added the colors that went with it. Then I did a garland and my journal card tag sleeve. A little harder. Normally my graphics perfectly lay out a nice circular square for you, a circular element, and I had to really fuss with this one, but I love how it's just a little bit of cutout and you still get this nice journal sleeve. So you put a bunch of your, those, like these journal cards, you could cut them up, wrap this around the stack of them, and then like glue them down as a place to tuck all your extra journal cards. Or keep it as a packet, and it's a gift that, you know, a gift of tags and journal cards that you're giving away with a sleeve that's already wrapped around. It's like a little wrapping to all your favorite ephemera. We do have like I said, we do have a sort of a one-directional garland, which I always love to put on the edge of a paper as a tuck, or even as a large tab-like effect on the ends of your paper. And a full page of fussy cuts. I try to do that easy cut around them in sort of a creamy taupe, to make it a little easier to get into some of these elements, because there's a lot of them. And they are, you know, you have them in large size, and then we have like, these are a little bit bigger, and these are just, and they get a little bit smaller. So you have this small, you have a little bit bigger, and then you have the bigger ones. So it gives you some oomph of floral to add into those areas. Could reprint this page a couple times over, print it on different colors, you would get different effects, depends how grungy you want to go, and you would have a nice set of floral ephemera, fussy cut, not ephemera, but fussy cuts, because really this is all floral. This is all about floral. There's nothing else in here but floral and some geometric shapes and patterns. That is the goal of this darling little kit. So it's 24 pages. It's up for sale. And you know, that's pretty much my new cup of, you know, new cup of tea is 21 to maybe 27 pages right now. And so I can get more out to you guys. You know, if I make them really large and big, they take, you know, a week plus to create and then finesse and all that fun stuff. When these only take a few days, maybe a week, you know, maybe 5 days at the most. And we get a nice little kit that is all out and ready to go. So this is the Aged Retro, a Floral Wallpaper Journal Kit. And so hopefully it intrigues something as we're getting into summer and warm weather and cooking and baking and domesticated moments, because we were thinking about, me and my mom were thinking about that up, you know, all kinds when she was working on her video, all the different little things you could make and do and what it reminded us of, and oh, it was so much fun. So thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it. This is Jolene with the Jewel Design. Thank you for liking, commenting, subscribing, notifications, because without you, you know, I would stop doing this part. I'd make the digitals, but no one would know what was going on. I have only 2 ladies who religiously show my work for me, and hence why I am now requesting some design team members. So if design team members is not your thing, thank you for joining me, and we will see you, I don't know when, either later this week or into next week. I think I have it every other week right now, from digital to maybe some journal with me's. We'll see. And I haven't decided what my journal with me's are going to be this month, so we'll see. If no projects come to mind, then you're just going to get a bunch of digitals. And if something fun and exciting comes about, I'll try to throw the camera on and get you guys a journal with me going. But if you're interested or curious about design team aspect, and you missed me on Instagram, you missed the feed, you can't find the posts, there's a couple out there on my Instagram channel, which is the same naming convention as my YouTube, but down below under the show more near the bottom, there's that all-in-one Linktree link, and it has everything going on from the Google form application to my Facebook, my Instagram, back here to the YouTube, my Buy Me a Coffee, my Crafters of a Jewel Design page. All of it's there that you can find information on what's going on If you didn't catch me on any of those, give me a moment and we'll do a quick recap of what's going on, and I'm still taking applications. So see you guys in just a moment. All right, welcome back to Drilling with a Jewel Design. It is a little windy out here, but this is where I wanted to be last week, and it's still no better, but we'll give this a shot. I am here today finishing off this video is just sort of recapping what I discussed on Instagram and Facebook, in case you only watch YouTube, right? Have to decide. I feel like I'm looking over here and I should be looking over here. How weird is that? So I am now at a point where 2 years in, I'm doing all the design work, but I only have like 2 or 3 ladies on a good week who are able to show off my designs. I try, as you see, I just did a digital reveal, but my YouTube channel is not growing as I would like, and I don't know exactly yet what to do to make that grow. But I know I need to get more and more, people aware of what I'm doing. And I'm getting to a point where I'm just about to start crouching in on the time of, is this design business going to be a business and it's going to take care of expenses and pay for insurance and be my full-time job that actually has a salary of a full-time job? Or do I have to go back out to work and I'm only doing digitals when I get a moment? And that could be once a month I put out a digital into my Etsy shop. Digitals are out there forever, which is great as long as I have my shop open. But I'm getting to a point where, sorry guys, I feel like I'm not really seeing the top of my head. There we go, right? I'm getting to a point where, I need more exposure. So it is time, after being 2 years and many sales that I am so humbled and so appreciative of, that I need a design team. I need about 6+ ladies every couple months, spending a little extra time on one of my digital kits. So you, as a design team member, get to choose one journal kit per month. I require 3 hours, equivalent about 3 hours of video time on YouTube in that month before you get your next kit free of charge. So it's either 3 1-hour videos, 6 30-minute videos, whatever, 20-minute videos, depending how quickly you do stuff. But it needs to be almost exclusively my kit with your little tidbits and bits and pieces that go with it, of course. Like, I don't expect you to be like, oh my gosh, I can only make with what's in this kit. I expect all the little embellishments to come from your stash. Unless you buy a bunch of my embellishments and you're showing off that flexibility. But anyway, I would love to see an equivalent of 3+ hours a month from you using that kit that you got from me for free, being showcased, being spotlighted, right? This is what I'm making. This is who it came from. Isn't this great? Here's part 1 and 2, or part 1, 2, and 3, depending on how you work. And so that way it gets you some free stuff. It lets you have something new, maybe outside your box, outside of your comfort zone, or within your comfort zone. You may excel at something that I do, and I'm right up your alley. And you're able to go ahead and showcase that kit. You would have my Etsy shop link. You would have a discount code for your followers and your subscribers, and you get the kit for free. And then, by 27th of the next month, you're like, okay, that's done, or it's all good. Here's the next kit I want. Now, I always give you sneak peeks. Like today, I have a kit that came out on, the 10th of May. I had it done end of last month. It's just the timing of things, and I just couldn't get it released till this week. But if I know it's coming, I may give my design team a heads up. Hey, this is sort of what I'm looking at. This is what I'm finishing. Do you have any interest in it? They're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. And if that's what you choose, I'll give it to you at the end of the month and let you know that your videos must air after my release date. And that may also help push me to get it out the door faster. So you can do new kits, brand new kits that are coming out the same month that you're using them. You can use old kits that could be a year ago, 2 years ago. If that's what fits your fancy and you want to take a new twist at it and you want to make something that no one's seen in a while, I'm all for it. It's free to you. Now, if you already have a bunch of my stuff, say if you're an avid buyer of mine, sorry guys, then we'll work out a deal. Whether I'm giving you a credit for the following month of just my newest kit that you just want to have, you're getting a valued amount each month one way or another. Whether it's just for your personal use, but you're using one of my old kits, but you have a credit for a future purchase, or worst case comes up to you get an Etsy gift card from me that you can use anywhere, right? I'm gonna reward you and replenish that amount. I am really hating the fact that the top of my head is getting cut off. I'm like, that's really bugging me, but I can't. I feel like I have to like crouch down. It's just a messy bun up here. It's not like I'm doing anything great. There we go. But if I get it too close, like the lighting's terrible. There we go. That's a little better. So, that's the perks there. Like I said, I request that. I hope that you have a YouTube channel. I would love to see that you have over 1,000 subscribers, but I know some ladies are finally retiring or getting more time at home, and they're, you know, a couple 3, 4, 500 have 3, 4, 500 subbies, which are more than I have, and they're growing steadily, right? They're getting their rhythm. So I'm not like dead set on my numbers, but the more people who watch you, the better we both will be in the success rate. So it brings in you, hopefully brings you in numbers. It shows that people are watching you because they're coming over and using your code on my shop. It, you know, and then of course every chance I get, when I see a video that you've made, I see a photo that you prompted, I'm going to, because I can share and tag people all day long. That doesn't take any of my time. Amazing at what hours of the day I can share a link. I will share your links, promote your YouTube, your Instagram, your Facebook, whatever you're doing. I will promote it and link it and share it so that people will come over and look at it and hope they love what you're doing and love my digitals and come back and shop. So it's a continuous circle of encouragement and support. So it's not just, oh, hey, go play with my stuff and that's the end of it. I want people to know that we're working together. I know many ladies who will share photos and posts of their stickers, their spreads, their digitals. Like, oh my gosh, this person used it, and they're sharing the love. So, what else? But that's about it. You know, it's a free journal kit, which ranges anywhere from $5 to $6. If you not big on kits, but you love ephemera or paper packs, or up to the same value of items. Maybe it's 2 different items that you need to hit that dollar amount, and you want to play with them, that you feel like go good together, or it's enough of a base that you're like constantly name dropping that whole video, going, hey, I use this background is from this background's from this paper's from that, something. So still in the wiggle room. First 3 months are definitely going to be a test run to see how things are going. I have a couple ladies already applied. I would love to see a few more. Even if I hit my maximum for this 3 months, then we're going into fall. And before we know it, guys, even though I'm going to try really hard to get some crafting done this summer, because I don't have any kids to run around all the time, the goal is to really get some serious digitals done so I can start laying them out, in sections, so that if I have to go back to work in the fall, I still have those digitals waiting, ready to go for you to share, for to be listed in my Etsy shop. So we're going to start stockpiling some things. So crafting will be for my own personal need and sanity. But the digital design work for the junk journals will be for you guys to share and use and enjoy and love, off the Etsy shops, the shares, and your creative work. So that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Again, all of this information is posted in my Instagram post on my Instagram page. Again, go down to the show more on my description, or the upside down triangle, and click to the bottom of my post here. It has all my links where you can click on it and go over to Instagram. And, it takes you right to my page, and you can see my logos on there, of course, and it says design team reps needed. And I'll have all the information. The Google link is in the link tree, same concept. If you click on the link at the bottom of this description, it also has the Google application form right there on the top that you can click on and fill out if you're interested. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Just a last recap of what went on last week. What I'm still looking for, I'm hoping end of this week, early the following week, I will be picking my design team members so that we can hash out basic details, and I can get you guys by Memorial Day weekend the first journal kits in your possession, so that you can start laying out your scheduled videos for June, because I can't believe we're almost halfway. Before you know, we're halfway through the year already. Gasp! I don't know what to do. All right, thank you so much. This is Jolene with the Jewel Design. You get to see my face besides the digitals. I hope you'll go take a look at those and everything else that's in my shop. And I will talk to you guys all very soon.